Hello everyone, I am Report-Liprado coming from 2BPED-A. And for this video, I'm going to discuss the official rules of softball from rule number 1 to rule number 4. So, let's start. Let's start with rule number 1, and it is entitled as definitions. So here, section number 1, altered bat. A bat is altered when the physical structure of Lego bat has been changed. Examples of altering a bat are replacing the handle of a metal bat which are wooden or other type handle, inserting material inside the bat, applying excessive tape, more than 2 layers, to the bat grip, or painting in a bat at the top or bottom for other than identification purposes. Replacing the grip with another legal grip is not considered altering the bat. A flare or cone grip attached to the bat is considered an altered bat. Next, section number 2, the appeal play. A live or dead ball appeal is a play or situation on which an umpire cannot make a decision unless requested by a manager, coach or player, or the non-offending team. Section number 3, ball compression. Ball compression is the load force in kilograms or pounds required to compress a softball 6.5 mm, 0.25 inches when measured in accordance with the ASTM American Society for Testing and Materials test method for measuring compression displacement of softball. Next section, we have the section number 4, ball core. The coefficient of restitution of a softball when measured with the ASTM American Society for Testing and Materials test method for measuring the coefficient of restitution of softballs. We have the section number 5, baseline. A baseline is a direct line between bases. Section number 6, base on balls. FP and SP, a base in balls, occurs when 4 pitches are judged by the plate umpire to be balls, including illegal pitches. The batter is awarded first base. This is sometimes referred to as a walk. FT to the ball is alive. SP, the ball is dead. Section number 7, base path. A base path is a direct line between a base and the runner's position at the time a defensive player attempting or about to attempt to tug a runner. Section number 8, bat ball. A bat ball is any ball that hits the bat or he is hit by the bat and lands either in the fair or foul territory. No attention to hit the ball is necessary. Section number 9, batter. A batter is an offensive player who enters the batter's box with the intention of aiding his team to acquire runs. He continues to be batter until he is either declared out by the umpire or he becomes a batter runner. Next. The batter becomes a batter runner. Section number 10, batter's box. The batter's box is the area to which the batter is restricted while in position with the intentions of helping his team to obtain runs. The lines are considered as being within the batter's box. Section number 11, batter runner. A batter runner is a player who has finished a turn at bat but has not yet been put out or touched first base. Section number 12, batting order. The batting order is the official listing of offensive players in the order in which members of the team must come to bat when the lineup card is submitted. It shall also include each player's position. Section number 13, black ball. A black ball is a bat, thrown or pitch ball that A, becomes lodged in the fencing, or B, is touched, stopped, or handled by a person not engaged in the game, or touching any object that is not part of the official equipment or playing area. Or D is touched by a defensive player who is in contact with the ground that is not part of the playing area. A thrown ball touching a base coach accidentally in or out the coach's backs is not a block ball. Number 14, bunt. A bunt is a bat ball not swung at but intentionally met with the bat and topped slowly within the playing field. Number 15, a catch is a legally caught ball, which occurs when the fielder catches a bat or thrown ball with his hands or glove. Next section. In, in establishing a valid catch, the fielder shall hold the ball long enough to prove the ball is securely held and or the release of the ball is voluntary and intentional. If the player drops the ball after reaching into the glove to remove it or while in the act of throwing, it is valid catch. But B, if the ball is merely held in the fielder's arms or prevented from dropping to the ground by some part of the fielder's body, equipment, or clothing, the catch is not completed until the ball is in the grasp of the fielder's hands or glove. Letter C. The fielder's feet must be within the field of play. Touching out of play line or being in the air after leave ball territory is ordered to have a valid catch. If the player has control of the ball when returning to the ground in the out of play area, it is valid catch. A player who is in out of play area and returns to the live ball territory must have both feet touching the playable area prior to touching the ball in order to have a valid catch. It is not a catch if a fielder, while gaining control, collides with another player, umpire, or a fence, or falls to the ground and drops the balls as a result of the collision of falling to the ground. A. Bat ball striking anything other than a defensive player, while it is a flight, is ruled the same as it struck the ground. We have the section number 16, catcher's backs. The catcher's backs is that area within which the catcher must remain until, letter A, the pitch is released. The lines are to be considered within the catcher's backs. B. The pitch ball is bat, touches the ground, plate, or batter, or reaches the catcher's back. The lines are to be considered within the catcher's backs. The catcher is considered within the backs except when touching the ground outside the catcher's backs. Section number 17, charge conference. A charge conference takes place when the offensive team requests a suspension of play or delays play to allow the manager or other team representative to confer with any member of their team. B. Offensive conference. The defensive team requests a suspension of play to allow representative of the defensive team to enter the playing field to communicate with any defensive player or a fielder, leaves his position and goes to the dugout and gives the umpire reason to believe that he received instruction. Note that section number 17, letter B, it is not a charge conference if the coach or manager notifies the plate of umpire of a change of pitchers either before or after communicating with the pitcher. Let's move on to the section number 18, the chop ball. So dito, a chop hit ball is one at which the batter strikes downward with a chopping motion of the bat so that the ball bounces high into the air. Section number 19, coach. A coach is a person who is responsible for the team's actions in the field and he represents the team in communications with the umpire and opposing team. A player may be designated as a coach in the event that coach is absent or that player is a playing coach. For the purpose of these rules, the manager of a team is considered to be head coach. Section number 20. Crow hop. A crow hop is defined as the act of pitcher who does not push off from the pitcher's plate to deliver the ball. This is an illegal act if the pitcher steps off the pitcher's plate, thereby establishing a second empty toes or starting point, and pushes off from the new starting point and completes the delivery rather. Section 21, dead ball. A dead ball is one that, letter A, touches any object that is not part of the official equipment or official playing area, or a player or person not engaged in the game, or letter B, lodges in the umpire's gear or in an offensive player's clothing, or C, the umpires has ruled dead. Next section. 22, defensive team. The defensive team is the team in the field. Union defensive team. 23, delayed dead ball. A delayed dead ball is a game situation in which the ball remains alive until the conclusion of a play. When the entire play is completed, if required, the umpire shall rule a dead ball and enforce the appropriate ruling. Refer to rule number 9, section number 3. Section number 24, designated player. DP or FP only. Designated player is a starting offensive player who bats in the lineup for the flex player listed in the 10th position on the lineup card. Section number 25, dislodge base. A dislodge base is a base displaced from its proper position. 26, double play. A double play is a play but defense in which two offensive players are legally put out as a result of continuous action. Section number 27, dog out. The dog out is an area in dead ball territory designated for players, coaches, bat boys or girls, and official representatives of the team only. There shall be no smoking in this area. Section 28, ejection from the game. Ejection is the act of any umpire ordering a player, official, or any team member to leave the game and the grounds for a rule violation for the remainder of the game. 29, fair ball. A fair ball is a legally bat ball which settles or is touched on or over fair territory between home and first base or between home and third base. Bounce past first or third base or over fair territory regardless of where the ball hits after going over the base. Touches first, second, or third base while on over fair territory touches the person or clothing of an umpire or player. First balls on fair territory beyond first and third base, while over fair territory passes out of the playing field beyond the outfield fence, while in flight hits the foul line pole. 30. Fair territory. Fair territory is the part of the playing field within and including the first and third base foul lines from home base to the bottom of the extreme playing field fence and perpendicularly upwards. Section 31. Fake tag. A fake tag is a form of obstruction on a runner while advancing or returning to a base by a fielder who is not in possession of the ball that impedes the progress of the runner. The runner does not have to stop or slide. Merely slowing down when a fake tag is simulated would constitute construction. Section number 32, fielder. A fielder is any defensive player of the team on the field. 33, fly ball. A fly ball is any ball bought into the air. 34, flex player. The flex player is the starting player of whom the designated player is batting and whose name appears in the 10th position in the lineup card. 35, force out. A force out is an out which can be made only when a runner loses the right to the base which he is occupying because the batter becomes a batter runner and before the batter runner or a succeeding runner has been put out. On an appeal play, the force out is determined by the force situation. At the end, the appeal is made, not at the time of the infraction. If the force has been broken by an out of succeeding runner prior to the appeal, then this is no longer a force out. 36. Forfeit. A forfeit is the act of the plate umpire ruling that the game is over by declaring non-offending team the winner. Section 37. Foul ball. A foul ball is a legally bat ball when settles a foul territory between home and first base and between home and third base. Bounce past first and third in over foul territory. First touches in foul territory beyond first or third base. While on over foul territory touches the person attached or did touch equipment or clothing of an umpire or player or any object foreign to the natural ground. Touching the batter on the bat is the batter hands. A second time while the batter is within the batter's backs. Goes directly from the bat, not higher than the batter's head, to any part of catcher's body or equipment that is caught by another fielder. And letter G hits the pitcher's plate and rolls untouched to foul territory before reaching first or third base. 38. Foul territory. Foul territory is any part of the playing field that is not included in fair territory. Section 39. Foul tip. A foul tip is a bat ball which, letter A, goes directly from the bat to the catcher's hands, goes not higher than the batter's head, and is legally caught by the catcher. Note that this is not a foul tip unless caught, and any foul tip that is caught is a strike. In fast pitch, the ball is in play. In slow pitch, the ball is dead. It is not a catch if it is a rebound unless the ball first touched the catcher's hands or glove. Section number 34, helmet. A helmet must have two or flaps, one of each side, and shall be the type that his safety features equal to or greater than those provided by the full plastic cap with a padding on the inside. A liner covering the ears only does not meet the rule specifications. Letter B, worn by a catcher, may be the skull type without the ear flaps. It should letter C, worn by defensive player, does not need air flaps. Letter D is cracked, broken, dented, or altered, shall be declared an illegal helmet and removed from the game. So we have the section 41, home team. The home team is the team on whose grounds the game is played, or if the game is played on neutral ground. The home team shall be designated by mutual agreement or by a flip of a coin. The home team shall take the third base dugout and play defense first. Number 42. Illegal bat. An illegal bat is one that does not meet the requirements of Rule 3 and Section 1. Section 41, illegal extra player. An illegal extra player is one who violates any of the provisions of Rule 4 to Section 6. Section number 44, illegal pitcher. Illegal pitcher is a player legally in the game, but one who may not pitch as a result of letter A, being removed from the pitching position by the umpire as a result of the defensive charge conference limit being exceeded, or letter B, being removed from the pitching position by the umpire as a result of pitching with excessive speed after warning. Next, section number 45. Illegal player. An illegal player is a player who takes a position in the lineup, either on offense or defense, who has not reported the plate umpire. Letter B, a player who takes a position or on offense or defense who does not have a legal right to that position. Section 46, illegal re-entry. An illegal re-entry occurs when a starting player returns to the game and second time after twice being substituted. A starting player returns to the game after being substituted but not in his original position in the offensive lineup. A substitute who has legally been in the game returns to the game after being substituted for by either the original starting player or another substitute. The starting DP or his substitute is placed into the batting order in a position other than his original starting position. A flex player is who is placed in the batting order in a position other than that of the starting DP. Section number 47, illegal substitute. An illegal substitute is a player who has entered the game without being announced to the umpire. He may be a substitute who has not previously been in the game, an illegal player, a declared ineligible player, an illegal entry, or an illegal DP or flex player. Yun na. A replacement player who remains in the game as an unannounced substitute for a withdrawn player who has not returned to the game within the time permitted under the provisions of the replacement player rule. 48. Illegally bat ball. An illegally bat ball occurs when the batter hits the ball fair or foul, when his entire foot is completely out of the batter's box on the ground, when he makes contact with the ball, while any part of the batter's foot is touching home plate, when he makes contact with the ball, while contacting the ball with an illegal, non-approved, or altered bat, after he steps with either foot entirely out of the batter's box, and then returns and makes contact with the ball while within the batter's box. Section 49, illegally caught ball. An illegally caught ball occurs when a fielder catches or bat, thrown or pitched ball with his cap, mask, glove, or any part of his uniform that is detached from its proper place. Section number 50, ineligible player. An eligible player is a player who may not longer legally participate in the game because the umpire has removed him. An ineligible player may no longer participate as a player but may continue in the game as a coach. An illegal replacement player. An illegal replacement player is a player who may not after the game to replace a player who must leave the game to attend to an injury that has caused bleeding. An ineligible replacement player is one who has been removed from the game by the umpire for a violation of the rules, is in the current lineup, is not in the current lineup, but eligible to re-enter the game. 52. In-flight describes any bat, thrown, or pitched ball that has not yet touched the ground or some object other than a fielder. Section 53, in jeopardy. In jeopardy is a term indicating that the ball is in play and an offensive player may be put out. Section 54, infield. The infield is the portion of the field in fair territory that includes areas normally covered by infielders. 55, infielder. The infielder is a defensive player including the pitcher and the catcher who is generally positioned anywhere near or within the lines of the base paths forming fair territory. A player who normally plays in the outfield may be considered an infielder if he moves into the area normally covered by infielders. Rule number 1, Section 47, definition, illegal substitute 8. Section 56, infield fly. An infield fly is a fair fly ball, not including a line drive or an attempted bunt, that can be caught by an infielder with ordinary effort when first and second or first, second, and third bases are occupied, before two are out. The pitcher, catcher, and any outfielder that positions himself in the infield on the play should be considered infielders for the purpose of this rule. 57, inning. The inning is the portion of a game within which the teams alternate an offense and defense, and in which there are 3 outs of each team. A new inning begins immediately after the final out of previous inning. Intentional base on balls. An intentional base on balls occurs when the defensive team desires to place the batter on first base without requirement to deliver 4 pitch balls. This is referred to as an intentional walk. The ball is dead. Section 59, intentionally drop fly ball. An intentionally dropped fly ball is a fair fly ball including a line drive or a bunt with less than 2 outs and a runner on first base, which can be caught by an infielder with ordinary effort, and the infielder intentionally drops after it's controlled with a hand or a glove. A trap ball or a fly ball allowed to bounce shall not be considered as having been intentionally dropped. 60. Interference. Interference is the act of an offensive player or team member that impedes, hinders, or confuses a defensive player attempting to execute a play. Letter B. An umpire who impedes catcher's attempt to throw out a runner who is off the base. Letter C. An umpire or runner being hit with a fair bat ball prior to it passing an infielder, including the pitcher. And letter D. A spectator who reaches into the playing field and impedes a fielder playing the ball or makes contact with a ball that a fielder is attempting a play on. Let's move on to the section 61, leaping. Leaping is the act of a pitcher that causes him to be airborne on his initial move and push from the pitcher's plate. The momentum built by the forward movement of the pitcher causes the entire body, including both the pivot, the stepping non-pivot foot, to be in the air at the same time and towards home plate. The pitch is completed when the pitcher lands and with a continuous motion delivers the ball to the plate. The pivot foot may push off and or follow through with his continuous action. Leaping is a legal act. Let's move on to the section 62, legal touch. A legal touch is the action of fielder in touching or tagging. Letter A, a batter. The batter runner or runner who is not in contact with a base with the ball securely held in his hand or glove. The ball is not considered as having been securely held if it is juggled or dropped by the fielder after tagging. The batter runner or runner, rule number 1, section 56, definition in field file 9, unless the player deliberately knocks the ball from the hands or glove of the fielder, the runner must be tugged with the hands or glove with which the ball is held. We have the letter B, a base with the ball securely held in his hands or gloves. The base may be touched or tagged with any part of the body to be a legal touch. The fielder could tag the base with a foot, with the hand, sit on the base, and etc. This would apply on any force out of the appeal situation. Let's move on to the section number 33, the legally caught ball. When we say legally caught ball, a legally caught ball occurs when a fielder catches a bat, thrown, or pitch ball, provided it is not caught in the fielder's cap, helmet, mask, protector, pocket, or other part of his uniform. It must be caught and firmly held in the hands or glove. Section 64, line drive. A line drive is a ball in flight that is bat sharply and directly into the playing field. We have the section 65, line up and line up card. A line up is the list of players who are currently involved playing offensive and defensive positions in the game, including the DP and flex player. And if being used, the lineup card will contain number 1, a last name, first name, position, and uniform number of the starting players in the lineup. Number 2, a last name, first name, and uniform number of available substitutes. And lastly, the last name and first name of the manager. Section 66, obstruction. Obstruction is the act of, letter A, a defensive player or team member who hinder or prevent a batter from striking or hitting a pitch ball. Letter B, a fielder who impedes the progress of a runner or a batter runner who is legally running bases while not is possession of the ball or not in the act of fielding a bat ball or making a fake tag without the ball. or in position of the ball and who pushes a runner off a base or in position of the ball but not in the act of making a play on the runner impedes the progress of that runner while he is legally running the bases. Section 65. Section 67, offensive player only. An offensive player only or OPO is a player that is batting other than flex for whom the DP is playing defense. The OPO continues to play offense but not play defense. Let's move on to the section 68, defensive team. The defensive team is the team at bat. 69, official equipment. Official equipment is considered to be any equipment, bats, the gloves, the helmet, and so on, in current use by the defensive or offensive team in the course of play. Defensive equipment, gloves for example, left on the field by the team playing offense would not be considered as official equipment. Section number 70, on-deck batter. On-deck batter is the offensive player whose name follows the name of the batter in the batting order. Next, section 71, on-deck circle. On-deck circle is that area where the on-deck batter may warm up or takes practice swings while waiting his turn to enter the batter's box. 72, 1 meter 3 foot line. 1 meter 3 foot line is the area the last half distance between home and first base with a batter runner must run to avoid being called out for interfering with a thrown ball by from the home plate area or with a fielder's attempt to take such a throw while running to first base. We have the section number 73. Option play. An option play is a play in which the offensive coach or manager is given to a choice of taking the enforcement of the illegal action or the result of the play, such as possible options. Include catcher obstruction, use of an illegal glove, an illegal substitution, an illegal pitch, an illegal pitcher return to the game and pitching, a female batter on 2-out walk or co-ed SP only. Next. 74, outfield. The outfield is the portion of the field that is outside the diamond, formed by the baselines or the area not normally covered by an infielder and within the foul lines beyond first and third bases and boundaries of the grounds. 75, overslide. An overslide is the act of an offensive player when, as a runner B overslides a base he is attempting to reach. It is usually caused when his momentum causes him to lose contact with the base, which then causes him to be in jeopardy. The batter runner may overslide first base without being in jeopardy, provided that immediately returns to that base. Section 76, overthrow. An overthrow is a play in which a ball is thrown from one fielder to another, resulting in a ball, letter A, going beyond the boundary lines of the playing field, letter B, becoming blocked. Section 77, pass ball. A pass ball is a pitch that should have been held or controlled by the catcher with ordinary effort. 78, pitch. A pitch is the act performed by the pitcher in delivering the ball to the batter. Pitcher circle. The pitcher circle is the area within 2.44 meter or 8 feet of the pitcher's plate. The lines are considered within the circle. 80, pivot foot. The pivot foot is that for A, with which the pitcher pushes off the pitcher's plate, letter B, which placed in contact with the pitcher's plate by the pitcher must remain in contact with the pitcher's plate until the pitch ball is released. 68. Play ball. Play ball is a term used by the plate umpire to indicate that play shall begin or be resumed when the pitcher holds the ball and letter A is within the pitcher's circle, letter B is on or near the pitcher's plate. All defensive players except the catcher who must be in the catcher's back, must be in the fair territory to put the ball in play. Section 82, Pre-game Meeting. The pre-game meeting is a meeting held at the home plate area and at predetermined time between the umpires rather, and the head coaches or managers or team representatives of the respective teams. The meeting is held to: letter A, confirm and improve the lineups of each team and to distribute a copy to opposition and review any special ground rules that may be applicable. 83. Protest. Konting tiis na lang, matapos na tayo. A protest is separate from an appeal. Is the action of a defensive or offensive team objecting to: letter A, the interpretation or application of a playing rule by an umpire, or the eligibility of a team roster member. Section 84, Quick Return Catch. A quick return catch is one made by the pitcher who the obvious attempt to catch the batter off balance. This would be before the batter takes his desired position in the batter's box or while he is still off balance as a result of the previous pitch. Section 83, Re-entry. Re-entry is the act of any of starting players returning to the game after being legally or illegally substituted. Next, 86. Removal from the game. Removal from the game is the act of the umpire declaring a player ineligible for further participation in the game, other than as a coach as a result of an infraction and the rules. 87. Replacement player. So ito namang replacement player ay player required to enter the game for a defined period of time to replace a player who must leave the game to attend to an injury that is causing bleeding. Letter A, a replacement player may be a listed substitute, may be substitute who has been in the game but subsequently substituted from the game. Or number 3, a starting player who is no longer in a lineup and who is no longer eligible to re-enter the game. So we have the letter B, replacement player is not classified as substitute but must reported to the umpire. Section 88. The Section 88 is the runner. A player of the team at bat who has finished a turn at bat, reached first base, and has not yet been put out. Section 89, the slap hit. Slap hit is a bat ball that has been struck with a controlled short chopping motion rather than reach a full swing. The two most common types of slap hit are those in which the batter takes: letter A, his stance as if to bunt, but the other either drives the ball into the ground with a quick short swing or punch hits the ball over the infield. Running steps within the batter's back toward the pitcher before making contact with the pitch with a quick short swing or punch hits the ball over the infield. Squeeze play. A squeeze play is a play in which the offensive team with a runner on third base attempts to score that runner by means of the batter contacting the ball. 91 starting players. The starting players are the players listed on the official lineup given to the umpire-in-chief and or the plate umpire. So we have the section number 92, stealing. Stealing is the act of a runner attempting to advance during or after a pitch to the batter. Stealing is not allowed to slow pitch. Understand? Stealing is not allowed to slow pitch. Strike zone. Itong strike zone is that space over any part of home plate between the batter's armpits and the top of his knees when he assumes his natural batting stance. We have the strike zone is that space over any of home plate that is between the batter's back shoulder and his knees when he assumes his natural batting stance. 94 substitute. Ito namang substitute is yung player listed on the official lineup card. Letter A, who is a non-starting player who has not been in the game other than a replacement player. Letter B, a starting player who has left the game once and may legally return to the lineup. 95. Tagging up. Tagging up is the action of a running returning to his base or remaining on his base before he legally advances on the butt fly ball that is first touched by the fielder. Not to be confused with the action of the fielder tagging a base or a runner. Section 96, team member. A team member includes any person authorized to sit on the team bench. We have the section number 99, temporary runner. The temporary runner is a player who may run for the catcher of record from the preceding half inning, who is now on base with 2 out. The use of the temporary runner is optional for the offensive coach. The temporary runner must the player who at the time of taking the option is scheduled to bat last and is not on base at the time of the option is taking. Let's move on to the section number 98, throw. Ito namang throw is the act performed by a fielder when throwing the ball to another fielder. 99. Time. The time naman is the term caused by the umpire to order the suspension of play during which the ball is dead. So, section 100. Finally, we are now in 100. It is entitled trap ball. Rather, a trap ball is a legally bat fly ball or line drive that hits the ground or a fence prior to being caught. Or a legally bat fly ball that is caught against a fence with the glove or bare hand. Or letter C, a thrown ball to any base for a force out which is caught with the glove over the ball on the ground rather than under the ball. And finally, letter D, a pitch ball that touches the ground on a strike prior the catcher's catching it. Section 101, triple play. So, ano naman itong triple play? Is a continuous action play by the defense on which 3 offensive players are put out. Turn at bat. A turn at bat begins when a player first enters the batter's bags and continues until the batter is put out or becomes a batter runner. So, when we say wild pitch, a pitch so high, so low, or so wide for the plate that the catcher cannot or does not or stop and control it with ordinary effort. So, ito namang wild throw is a play in which a ball is thrown from one fielder to another and cannot be caught or controlled, is not blocked, and remains in play. Withdrawn player. Si withdrawn player naman is forced to leave the game or line up in the accordance with the replacement player ruling. Rule 100. So, let's move on to the rule number 2, the playing field. So, we have here the sections. Let's start with section number 1, the playing field. So, itong playing field natin is the area within which the ball may be legally played and fielded. Number 2, the ground or special rules and ground. Or special rules establishing the limits of the playing field may be agreed upon by leagues or opposing teams whenever backstops, fences, stands, vehicles, spectators, or other obstructions are within the prescribed area. Any obstruction on fair territory less than the minimum fence distance set out in the distance table should be clearly marked for the umpire's information. If using a baseball field, the mound should be removed and the box stop set at the prescribed distance from home plate. So, section number 3. The official diamond shall have baselines and pitching distances as set out in the distance table. If during the game, the base distance or the pitching distance is found to be at the wrong distance, correct the error at the start of the next full inning, and continue playing the game. Let's move on to the next section. Section number 4, diamond layout. For the layout of the diamond, refer to drawing showing official dimensions of softball diamond in Appendix 1A, a detailed instruction to lay out a diamond with an 18.29 meter, 60 feet baselines, and 14 to 46 feet pitching distance can be found in Appendix 3. Dimensions for following are contained in Appendix 2. So letter A, the 1 meter or 3 feet in line is drawn parallel to from the baseline, starting at a point halfway between home plate and first base. Letter B, the batters on deck circle is of place adjustment to the end of player's bench or dugout area closest to home plate. Letter C, the batter's box are located on each side of the home plate. The lines are considered as being within the batter's box. Letter D, the catcher's box shall be located to the rear of the batter boxes. And letter E, each coach box is parallel to the first and third base lines extended from the bases toward home plate. Letter F, the home plate shall be made of rubber and shall be a 5-sided figure. The side shall be parallel to the inside lines of batter's box. And letter G, the pitching plate shall be of rubber. The top of the pitcher's plate shall be level with the ground. And number 2, the front line of the pitcher's plate shall be in the distance from the back point or home plate as a set of the distance table, and see it in the appendix 2. Next, diamond layout. Next rule, we have the equipment. Rule number 3. Section number 1 entitled the official bat. Number 2, warm-up bats, the official softball, the glove and limits. Number 5, shoes, the protective equipment, as well as the equipment on playing field. So also in the section number 8, the uniform they use while they are playing, and all section number 1 or 9 rather, and all equipment that is going to be used while playing, the player as well as the umpire and the other players who belongs to the game. Rule number 4, coaches and players and substitutes. So dito naman sa rule number 4, entitled as the topic entitled coaches, the players and the substitutes. Section 1, coaches, lineup, cards, and the rosters, the players, starting players, designated player or FP, extra player or SP, or re-entry. Number 8, substitute, illegal player, disputed calls, dugout conduct, replacement player, temporary runner, the violations and penalties. So when we end up already our rules, no, we are now in rule number 4. This is the ending of my report. So again, I am Charlene C. Liprado, and for the next video, we are going to I'm going to report the next rule, the rule number 5, and until rule number 8. So thank you for watching and listening. Goodbye all.